Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Martin Baraya and in this tutorial you will learn about Android fragments. Okay guys, now let's talking about fragments in Android. Fragments are reusable piece of UI, and the purpose of using a fragment to build a flexible UI that we can dynamically add the UI or remove it during the runtime. And I did this simple example for you guys for explain the fragments. Now if we have the following scenario, we have a main activity, and this main activity has two buttons, button A and button B. If we click on button A, for example, so the new activity A, it's open with a fragment. If we notice, we put this fragment A is gonna take around 80% from the UI, and the button B, if we click on the button B through the main activity, it's gonna open the new activity B, and this activity B could be with the fragment B, and this fragment could take 50% from the UI, like you see guys. So this is how we can use a fragment with the UI, and the fragments like a reusable piece of UI. Okay guys, now if we took a look about Android activity and the fragment lifecycle, could be like the following. Fragment is added, then on attach, then on create view, and on activity create, and on start, on resume, and fragment is active now. After that we can use on pause, on stop, on destroy view, on destroy, on detach, then fragment is destroyed. This is the life cycle for fragments with the activity. Okay guys, now let's start building application with a fragment. So we're gonna start using Android Studio and start with a new project. I'm gonna choose empty activity. Next, I could name it Fragment EX, and this is the location, save location for the project. We're gonna choose Kotlin language, and the minimum API level I'm gonna start with API 16, and that's it. Just hit finish. And the project could take some time to finish building the Gradle and start working. Okay, now after Gradle build finished, I'm gonna start make a new layout for fragment, and I'm gonna go through the resource, then choose layout, right click, then new layout resource file, and this file I could name it toolbar fragment, and I'm gonna choose the root element to be relative layout. We're gonna try working with the relative layout. then just hit OK, and that's it. This is the relative layout fragment. Now first of all, I'm gonna add 3 new view elements to this layout. Okay guys, now inside the relative layout, we're gonna add edit text with seekbar, then the button to change the text, like the following. So I just did the edit text, this one failed, then seekbar, this one, then button for changing the text. On the edit text, we just did the width and height with the wrap content, then layout, because I'm choosing relative layout, then layout align parent tab to be true, should be true, and layout center horizontal true because I'm choosing to be the center horizontal, and margin tab I'm choosing to be 16 dp. I'm using db because it is element, and Android EMS, that means the size of edit text, it could be 12 or any number you want. Then this is input type text because this is edit text, so we can add text for it. After this one, we have a seekbar, and the same thing with width and height. I'm choosing width to be match parents with the parent. Then the height could be wrap content. Then I'm choosing align parent start equal true, then align parent left equal to true. Actually, the parent left and parent start, they are the same, but I'm choosing to be the left. I'm adding the parent left for it because this one could be support the old version. Old version look like less than 17 API level. So start for the new version and left for the old version, and they are the same. And if we want to be the end, align parent end, this one, the other one should be right, align parent right, but only now we need the left with the start. So this 2 line of code could be support the old and the new version for the seekbar. And after that, just I'm choosing layout below to be the ID of the edit text. This is because edit text, I'm choosing the ID to be edit text. So this layout below of this edit text. Then the last one could be the button, and I'm choosing to be ID. I could name it button beauty, and width and height with the wrap content. And this is the layout below of seekbar, because seekbar ID, I'm naming the seekbar ID to be seekbar. So this is layout below of the ID of this layout, which is seekbar. Then I'm choosing layout center horizontal to be true because I want this layout to be center on horizontal. And after that, I'm choosing margin tab to be 17 dB or any dB you want, and Android text. This is my text showing on the button. Change my text. I'm choosing to be this text in hard code, and you can change it to be working with the string, so you can put this string on the string file and link to it, but I'm just leaving like that, and that's it. This is the end of the relative layout. Then we're gonna create the first fragment class. Like the following, we can go through the Java, and inside the package name we could right click, then choose new, then Kotlin file. This one I could name it toolbar fragments, then kind of class, then hit OK. That's it. Okay, now first of all, we're gonna cast this toolbar fragment from the original fragment like this. So then I can just hit Alt and Enter and choose this Android support version 4 fragment to adding the supporting library. Then we're gonna add the first overwrite function for our fragment, and this could be on create view like this. So this is override function on create view to inflate the layout. Then we just gonna inflate this layout from our fragment. So we're gonna inflate the layout like the following. So I just add the val type for view. This inflate from the resource layout, then toolbar fragment that we did it, toolbar fragment XML, this one, and with container and root false, attach root false. This could be return view. Okay guys, now we're gonna create the second fragment layout by making another XML layout by going through the resource, then layout, and from the layout I'm gonna choose right click, then new resource file, and this file I could name it text fragment, and the root element we're gonna choose the relative layout again, then just hit OK, and this is a new layout. Then inside the relative layout we're gonna add text view like this. This one, text view with the ID, can choose any ID you want. Then we're gonna add width and height to be wrap content, and layout I could choose center horizontal because I want this layout to be in the center. So this is center horizontal, and center vertical too. Then the text, this is text view, so the text could be this string, second fragment, and the last one, this could be text appearance large. And that's it. And as a first fragment, this one will also need to have a second class associated with it. So now we're gonna add text fragment class associated with this XML file by going through the Java, then this package, and head to right click, then Kotlin class, and this class I could name it text fragment, and this could be kind of class, then hit OK. Then we're gonna cast text fragment like we did before on the original fragment class, and just we need to hit Alt and enter and choose this one, support version for adding the library. And after that we're gonna add overwrite function and inflate the XML layout like we did before for the first fragment. So this one could be like this on create view. This is overwrite function. Then we could inflate this text fragment. So we associated this class with the XML text file, this one. So this one could be associated with the text fragment class by using inflate r resource, then layout, and text fragment. This is the name for our fragment. Okay guys, now we have to understand what is the purpose of this example. The purpose of this example is to use these two fragments, the toolbar fragment and the text fragment, inside the main activity here. Actually, we don't need the text view. We're gonna change it. And this main activity XML by default using the constraint layout. Actually, we don't need this one right now. So now from the design mode right here, we can choose it. Then we can add a fragment by drag and drop this fragment here. Just drag it and drop it. And we can choose which fragment we want. I'm gonna choose this one, toolbar fragment, that we did it before. Then hit OK. After that, I can just rename it. The ID could be fragment. Then I can just right click on it and choose the center to be center horizontal to make it in the middle. And after that, I can just click on this red here, and from the unknown fragment I can choose the unknown fragment, then add this fragment, this layout fragment, to solve this missing constraint. Just choose this button and that's it. We add the first fragment here inside the main activity, and we can go back to the text mode, this one. So we add this fragment. And after that, we can do the same thing for adding the second fragment. So we're gonna go through the design mode again and drag and drop the fragment here, and we're gonna choose text fragment, then hit OK. This one I'm gonna make it in the middle, so just right click, then choose center horizontal to make it in the center. After that, I can just change the ID to be only fragment 2. Okay. Now I can just click on this arrow here, just double click on it, and we're gonna solve this unknown fragment by choosing this unknown fragment, then choose our fragment, and to solve this missing constraint, so we can just choose this button, and that's it. So we add the second fragment too. We're gonna go through back the text mode, and this is the second fragment. So in this way we can just add this first fragment here, and the second fragment here, and all these we can make it inside the main activity. Okay, now if we choose the toolbar fragment XML, the first step we want to do is to make sure this button is respawn when the user add the text on the edit text, and this toolbar is respawn too. And we will implement this listener with the toolbar fragment class here. Now, first of all, we're gonna add the listener for toolbar here, like this, and just hit Alt and Enter to import the library and choose import. Then I just gonna add sig value variable like this, equal to, for example, 12. Then inside this overwrite function on create view, and before the return value here, we're gonna add find view by ID to connect it with the XML like this. Just add this, just import this library for button. So we're just gonna add this val for sig bar and the second val for button, and find view by ID to connect it with this sig bar with the ID of sig bar, which is this one, this ID. Then the second one, val for button, to connect the button, resource ID, then the button, this one. Then we're gonna add the sig bar listener like this. This is the sig bar, sit on sig bar change listener, and after that we're gonna add set on click listener for the button like this. So I'm gonna explain what I did here. On set on click listener, we need a function, and this function has input variable, type of view. So we need like this variable, v variable, type of view like input, and add this function because we need to click a button, and when we click this button it's gonna change the view. So to add this function could be private function, and we have to add it outside of on creative view, the override function. So this function could be here, so this is a private function, button clicked as input value of a view. Okay, now to make the sig bar working, we need 3 override function. So I'm gonna add here 3 override function here, because when we're gonna add these 3 override functions, it could be like implementation for on sig bar change listener interface. Okay, now the next step of this process is to set up the listener that will allow the fragment to call the activity when the button is clicked. Okay, to do this, first of all, we're gonna add variable for activity callback like this, and this variable could be before the onCreateView function. Like this. This is activity callback for the toolbar fragment, maybe equal no. Then we're gonna make toolbar listener interface like this. Interface toolbar listener, and this interface has a function or method, name it onButtonClick, and this method has a two input type for position, type of integer, and text, type of string. Okay guys, now if you remember the fragment activity lifecycle, we have onAttach overwrite function coming before onCreateView. So here before the onCreateView overwrite function, we have to add onAttach. So here we're gonna add this overwrite function onAttach. This is this window for just importing the library for context. Just hit OK. So this overwrite function onAttach coming before the onCreateView because we use a fragment. And inside onAttach method, we're gonna add try catch exception for fragment listener. I mean toolbar listener. And this could be like this: try catch activity callback for context as a toolbar listener, and catch exception through the context. Once this is the string, we can write anything here. Okay, now after done, we're gonna go back to button click private function, and inside it we're gonna add activity callback for onButtonClick, and has a seek value for edit text. This one just I have to import the library for it, so just hit Alt Enter and import. Now first of all, we have to change this appcompat activity to the fragment activity. So just import the library for it. Just choose the fragment activity and hit Alt and Enter and import it. Import. Then we're gonna add toolbar fragment with the listener here. which is toolbar fragment to toolbar listener. And after that, we're gonna add overwrite function for on click outside of this override function. So here we add override function on button click, and we did this override function for the listener because we use inside the toolbar fragment this interface toolbar listener and with function on button click. So after done this, we're gonna make text fragment talking with the activity. And to do that, we're gonna add function for changing the text, and this function could be outside on create view. This function, just import this. Okay. This function named change text has a two inputs, integer and string, for this variable, and this text view with text size equal font size to float. This is gonna change the size to float for text view. Then the text view with text is gonna equal text. And the last thing we're gonna do here in the main activity, we're gonna modify this override function on button click by adding variable for text fragment with support fragment manager and find view by id id.fragment2. This is the id name for the XML fragment. If I just click on control and click on this id, so we're gonna see this is the fragment we're gonna working with it. As text fragment. Okay guys, now we're gonna try our application by using Android emulator. So after the application is launched, we notice the main activity has two fragments. This is the first fragment and the second fragment. And we come here, we can write anything like Android and just hit this button, change my text, is gonna change it to Android. And if we try to use the seek bar and use the button, we notice the size is bigger than the first time. Alright, that's it for this video. If you like the video, let me know in the comment below or leave a like. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to get more tutorials like this. And finally, I hope this was helpful, and I will see you in the next one.